World's Finest Teen Titans issue 2, Mark Waid writing with Emanuela Lupacchino on the art. So I really liked issue 1 of this. I was curious about what issue 2 was going to be, and I will say there's just a slight nitpick I'm going to give it here, is that there is a little bit in the middle of this where they're in the house of secrets or mystery or whatever, and it turns into a bit of a nightmare scene, and I'm like, this is not the time to be doing a nightmare scene, okay?
Yeah, that's true. That's unfortunate timing for Waid and Lupacchino.
Yeah, it's just awkward timing. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The issue is very good. Let me make that clear. The issue is very, very good.
However, I much prefer the way they go about it in this issue than most things in Night Terrors.
Sure. Well, that's because we're still following several characters that are not in the nightmare scenario, and it's quite short. It's brief. It's it's like it works into the story, which has got a complete thing going on. So the story starts with Bumblebee and Bumblebee.
Donna.
No, I know Donna's. Yeah, they go to Donna's apartment, but it's Garth and Bumblebee. I'm just. What's Bumblebee's real name? What's our?
That's a good question.
Man, you're supposed to know these things.
I don't know. This book has made me realize I don't know this era of Titans very well.
Okay.
My infatuation with the Titans comes with New Teen Titans. So I just know I can tell you that.
Okay, well, it's on page 2. Her name is Karen, Matt.
Karen. I knew it started with a K.
The level of research Matt was trying to put in there, but it's just on page 2 of the comic.
Yeah.
They're going to see Donna, and Malcolm's there. So this is where how Karen meets Malcolm, which if you know any Titans lore, you know that they end up being a couple. So it's kind of like teasing that, and she's got a bit of flirtiness to her. And there's also like a little bit where he's like crashing on the couch, and he kind of says "Are we good?" to Garth, just to kind of be like, "Yeah, I'm not trying to steal your girlfriend or anything. I'm just crashing on the couch because I need to sleep somewhere." But it's basically a little montage of just Donna loving being in the world. Like, she's just loving roller coasters and guitars and popcorn and a bunch of things.
Reading this and seeing Lupacchino's art, it did remind me of early Wonder Woman by Rucka.
Year one,
so, yeah. So I really all like that. Also, did not realize Donna's origin of Wonder Woman finding her in Man's World, and because they couldn't locate her family, her taking her to Paradise Island or to Themyscira. I didn't realize that was what Donna's origin was. So Waid bringing them back in here, and that's why she has such a love for this, for her, place of origin, despite being an Amazon. I thought that was a nice little, character trait.
Yeah, they also establish here that Donna's got a secret identity. So that not anyone can just find her, but she's pretty liberal about just revealing it to friends. So Malcolm already knows that she's a Titan, and then when they get like a call, she's like, "Oh, Titan business, we have to go, guys." Bumblebee's like, "Hey, you just kind of outed me as one of the Titans here."
And she's like, "Oh, I did." So I do like the kind of flightiness of Donna.
Yeah, so that's a bit of fun at the start, which I appreciate being there, because I love that there's character development in this, and we're building like all these friendships and stuff. I think Wade's done a really good job with this book, and we're only 2 issues in. But the main plot, once it gets going, is that this teenager ran away from school and went missing, and it seemed that she went into this creepy house, right? And the Titans are here to find her, and we find out that she actually developed telepathic powers, and she was hearing everyone's thoughts, and it got worse and worse, and she couldn't keep them out. And then she started projecting her own thoughts out into the world, so everyone was seeing her worst like fears and dreams and secrets, and she couldn't stand to be around anyone, so she ran away. So all a bunch of fun stuff. So 3 characters get sent in. Garth, Speedy, and Donna go in to try and find her in this house, and it's basically like this girl's powers are like forming all these nightmare scenarios for them, and they're having to fight through them. But we do cut to the other outside world. Robin, Wally, and Bumblebee go to talk to the girl's friend, and she's like, "Hey, this is what's going on with her. This is what happened." So it becomes this kind of sympathetic thing. I think the big thing here is that Garth opens up about his backstory and talks to her to try and relate to her and say, "Hey, I had a tough upbringing as well. I was born with purple eyes," which to like people, in Atlantis was this evolutionary throwback, and I was sort of an outsider. I was called a monstrosity, and I was treated as this other, the other, basically.
Yeah.
So it's this, and I was like, I didn't know this about Garth. This is actually quite interesting to get some characterization for Aqualad.
Yeah, they left him on the reef. That's how Aquaman and Mera end up getting him. So he becomes his Robin, right? Is like they found this baby on the reef and they brought him in because they're not going to let that happen. Or someone else did. Maybe it got adjusted later. But traditional Silver Age origin for Garth is that.
Yeah.
And because of his purple eyes and being the outsider, I think he's more adept at Atlantean magic along those lines. So that's when he becomes Tempest. I think he's able to do all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think Waid probably knows that most modern readers don't know this backstory for him, and that's why it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like another retread like the Pearls in the Alleyway. It's like, no. This is actually a character who doesn't get a lot of time usually, so we're going to give him a little bit of a spotlight here.
And again, and he works it into a way that's not just an info dump. It is him relating to the girl.
Yeah.
Each of those fears, each of those nightmares are kind of a teenage fear of like rejection and not feeling comfortable in their body. And,
they're kind of translated for each of the characters who are experiencing them, but they all kind of track back to like regular teenage fears. And
so it's that kind of fear of rejection is what Garth is not applying to. What's the word I'm looking for? That's what he's using as the bridge relating. Thank you. Yeah. Is relating to her through.
Yeah. So Omen puts like a block in her mind to sort of restrain her telepathy. Yep. And like, hey, we're going to get you some help, someone who can specialize in this sort of thing. But notably, Donna's quite cold, and the impression I got from this is that Donna's upset that Garth's never told her any of this, because they all hear it, I think, and I think she's feeling like he's not opened up to her. And if you go back to that sort of like double date they had at the start, effectively, where they were going and doing stuff, Garth was kind of detached and Donna was the driving force behind everything. And then all of a sudden, and you can imagine that Donna does feel like an outsider, that she is like this, she grew up in a place where she was from another world. She was from man's world. She probably feels kind of like betrayed almost that her boyfriend has not like told her all these similar feelings that he's had about where he grew up, how he was sort of left and was raised by someone else. It's just a simple little moment where she doesn't say anything and then she just goes, "I'm fine." And I think we all know, especially if you're a guy and you have a lady friend and you hear the words "I'm fine," well, you don't know exactly what you don't know exactly what it means, but you know it's trouble. you know it's trouble.
They're not indeed fine. There's something going on, and some people you can pick at and get through. Other people, when they say "I'm fine," you're just gonna make them more upset by digging, and it's very. Man, it's part of growing up is learning to navigating that, and even at my advanced age, I still haven't figured it completely out. So, and especially so. Being a teenager, poor Garth. He has no idea what to do.
Yeah, there is a mysterious figure watching them from the woods here towards the end. So we don't get to see who this is. We just see like a silhouette of someone watching. So that's setting up something. And then the final page, it kind of comes back to the theme of the first issue, which was Robin getting pissed that everyone's been so public and on social media about all their antics. And, Robin's been trained by a Batman to, have the secret identity, to not reveal things. And Wally and Roy are like, hey, there's a Titans con in Metropolis. And so they're all excited, and Robin's like, oh, holy shit, F my life. Like, what is this?
This is what we should not be doing.
Yes.
100%. You guys are doing the opposite of what I'm telling you.
So, I really loved that the first issue set up that conflict that Robin's like used to be more secretive about everything, and he's got a lot of Batman's, like, even though he's very different from Batman, he's got a lot of his teachings like ingrained in him.
Yeah, he hasn't learned yet to trust in his friends, right? Because these friends are still kind of new to him.
Yeah,
This isn't the new Teen Titans Robin with Wally and Starfire and Beast Boy that, fully trusts in them who they are.
Yeah, that's a more mature Robin. But like, the first issue set up all these themes. I loved that about it, and it kind of made it, probably stronger than any of the World's Finest book had been. Like, I think instantly it was better than that. And I like the Batman Superman book a lot, but I think this already feels like it's doing more with its premise. And in this issue, opening up more about Garth, I feel like, okay, we're getting a lot of stuff here for these characters, and I'm looking forward to like seeing which character gets the spotlight next issue, because it feels like first issue was kind of Robin that it focused on. Everyone got a little bit, but it was mainly Robin's story. This issue, it's pivoted to Garth, got the big moments and the dramatic stuff. I suspect the next issue, maybe it'll be someone else, Speedy, Wally, Donna, whoever. So very good.
Very good. Yeah, I also like the dynamics that are coming up between Roy and Dick, because we all know that while they're friendly now, growing up they were kind of rivals, right? Because they're both very similar. They're both wards to billionaires and whatever. So the fact that they are still kind of butting heads in this issue, I like that continuing over. But yeah, and Lou Pacino's art, I just, I'll always be a fan of. And here, the very, very clean lines, everything feels very classic-y, silver agey at points, but not like Dan Moore's. There's a bit of a nuance difference to it. So, yeah, I'll never be upset at Lou Pacino art.
Yeah, the art's very good. I do think once in a while there'll be like a face that looks a bit flat. I think what's the guy with Lilith? What, Narc?
Narc. Yeah, that's not a Narc appearance. The Cape Boy.
He there's a couple of panels of him where his face does look a bit maybe too flat for my liking, but it's few and far between. Like the general aesthetic of Lou Pacino art is very pleasing to the eye.
Yes.
So it does work for Silver Age because it is a very kind of clean style that feels old school in that sense. So yeah, all right. What are you giving World's Finest Teen Titans issue 2?
I'm giving this an 8.5.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'll agree with 8.5 on this one. Yeah. I think that's fair. So, very, very good. I think I like the first issue a little bit more, but...
Yeah, it's a solid read nonetheless. Like, I'm glad Mark Waid came back to DC to tell these type of stories.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I think we're really I almost felt like he had some growing pains coming back, and then we're really starting to bear fruit of, him being back at DC.